With the cola yesterday, 2.8%, pretty terrible. If you go to the cash register, you go to the gas pump, you pay your electricity. I'm sure it increased more than 2.8% since last year. So we'll see what comes out of that, whether the BLS was politicized to come out with those numbers. But we probably won't know that until it's too late. But they also came out not only with the COLA yesterday, they also came out with all the other numbers. Didn't come out with Medicare Part B premium, but they came out with how much you can earn in your early retirement age, how much you have to pay in taxes, the max tax, and they came out with disability numbers. And so I went over those yesterday, but had a lot of questions, so I want to do a Q&A. So we'll spend the entire hour or longer answering any and all of your questions. And we've got a phenomenal follow-up story. If you're new to my channel, a lot of people are probably new to my channel today. Got a lot of views on the video yesterday on the COLA increase, as normally do every year. But one of the video questions we got with this young lady was out there struggling. And guess what? Thanks to y'all, thanks to our community out there, she got our website, she got our channel, and she was able to make a video question. And guess what? Got some good news for you. Some very, very good news. I'll show the video that she made thanking everyone out there that pushed like and subscribe and shared and all that kind of stuff. That's how she got that extra money. So this is an awesome, awesome, awesome story. And it shows we've done this hundreds of millions of times in terms of we've probably gotten hundreds of millions of dollars for people out there. And I also want to talk about fraud, waste, and abuse. As I mentioned, those are 3 of the 5 magic words that politicians use nowadays. If they say the words fraud, waste, abuse, illegal aliens, then we as American people, it seems like we'll let them do whatever and say whatever and stamp over the Constitution and whatever, who cares? As long as they say one of those 5 words, then they can do whatever they want. I guess that's the reality we're in today. But fraud, waste, and abuse. This is a perfect example of, is there billions of dollars of fraud, waste, and abuse out there? Yeah, but it's not what you think. So let me talk about that right now. But I want to go ahead and show you the video of the lady that y'all helped. So this is her follow-up video from a previous one. So let's go ahead and check it out. This is an awesome, awesome, awesome story.
Hi, this is Anne. I had called about the 30-year previous. Thank you. And I called right away, like you said, and you said to follow up if I could. And I just want to thank you. The money is almost double. So I'm really grateful.
Did you hear that? The money is almost double. I think she said in the original video she was receiving about 1,000 or so. And the situation was, for those new people out there that didn't see the original video a few days ago, she was married to someone and married to that person when that person passed away. And she thought, like a lot of other people out there, that you hear this 10-year marriage, had to be married 10 years, 10 years, 10 years. Yes, that is correct for a divorce type situation, but she wasn't divorced from this individual. She was married to that person when that person passed away. And she was, I think she was only married for 6 years. And she said, well, I wasn't married for 10 years. So she's been without these benefits for years that she was eligible for. And then she also had another marriage after that. So she thought that also perhaps negated getting survivor benefits, which again is not true because she is now single. She is divorced from that second person. So that doesn't affect her Social Security benefits at all. So we told her, she sent us this video because, again, I just give the information. If I only have 2 people watching, then we only affect 2 lives. But because y'all share, like, subscribe, and talk about it and comment and all that kind of stuff, these stupid YouTube algorithms and all the other social media algorithms get the information out to more people, and we're able to reach more people. And this is how she got that help, because of y'all. And she also had some follow-up questions, but she wanted to thank y'all again.
And I wanted to thank you again so much. And I did have some concerns.
Okay, she shows her, it's blurry, but I want to make sure that I don't show her paperwork there. I don't think you can see it, but I'll just fast forward.
Things that were discrepancies. For some reason, they left out that I used my surviving spouse's name for quite a few years.
Okay, and she had some kind of follow-up questions on there. So number one, she thanks y'all profusely of what you did to help her, and in terms of the when you get an application from Social Security, you take an application for retirement benefits or survivor benefits. Some of the stuff she mentioned that, oh, there's different names on there, and I didn't talk about this one and stuff. When you file an application to Social Security, and Steve is looking to file as well, and I'll answer Steve's question as part of this as well. But when you file for Social Security benefits, it pulls up what you're called your Numadent, which Elon Musk found, and he thought that's where you got money from, and so he had no idea what he's doing in Social Security. But your Numadent is the record of your Social Security card, the names when you were born, your parents' names and stuff like that. So anytime you change your name when you get married or divorced or whatever, it's a record of that. So when you do an application, it picks that up and it puts that in your application. So she's worried about that. So don't worry about it. The stuff she was talking about on the application, it's just formality, bureaucratic type stuff. So you are 100% good. The application you did is good. She asked about the remarks. She said, on the top of the application, it says this, that, and the other, but on the remarks, it's always capitalized for whatever reason. On the remarks underneath, it fixes all that. And basically the remarks underneath that are in capital letters, I'm not sure why MCS, the computer system, does this, but I've done this a million times, is when the claim specialist types in particular remarks, oh, I talked to you about this, and I understand that, this person was married before, but it was under, it was a divorce type situation, it was under 10 years. So they write little remarks to kind of close out that loop. So that corrects anything the computer automatically picked up, because the computer, guess what, AI, going forward, it looks like, is not always right and picks up some strange stuff. So a human being actually has to look at it and say, okay, this is not appropriate, this is not relevant, so I'll just write in little remarks there. So she said, well, on the application it says this, but on the remarks it contradicts it. That's the reason. So you're 100% good. You are getting those benefits, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So congratulations on finding our YouTube channel, asking the question, and now her benefits are going to be doubled. And this is the fraud, waste, and abuse. Before I get to you, Steve, this is the fraud, waste, and abuse. It's not perpetrated by politicians always blaming us for fraud, waste, and abuse. This is politicians' fraud, waste, and abuse. Fraud is one of the things that politicians commit fraud upon us. Is remember all of those decades we pay into Social Security, and part of that is obviously, the FICA tax, Social Security tax. You get the 6.2%, yada yada yada. But that money, part of that money, a very super small, less than 1% of that, goes to help when you need it. So all of those decades you paid into Social Security, part of that is said, okay, when I retire at 62 or 67, or if I become disabled, or if I pass away and my survivor needs benefits, this money is going to be there. And here's a few bucks every single paycheck for the past 30, 40, 50 years you worked. Here's a few bucks to pay for someone to help me or my survivor or my children get those benefits, to make sure they get the right check at the right time. And guess what? Politicians have committed fraud, I would argue, by not giving that help to you. Because, and this is nothing new, Social Security, even before Elon Musk and Doge came in and the current administration started cutting employees left and right, over 7,000, Social Security was already at a 50-year low. And this is because politicians over the last few decades, they are, they want to privatize Social Security. So they want to make customer service as terrible as it possibly can, so people will get frustrated and just give up and say, okay, whatever, what's an alternative solution? Well, the alternative solution is just to go ahead and, like Medicare Advantage, which is privatized Medicare. Social Security advantage. We're just going to privatize Social Security. And so this is the fraud they've committed upon us for 40 years by not fixing this system and not making it better. And therefore, people like me have to come on here and do a live Q&A every day. I shouldn't have to do this. I'm going to do it for the next 10 or 20 years. Don't get me wrong. I love doing it. But you should be able to call Social Security and they pick up the phone and give you the right answer. And this poor lady, abuse, fraud, waste, and abuse. I'll get to the waste here in a second, but abuse, if that's not abuse, having this poor lady suffer for however many years on only half the income, if that's not abuse, I don't know what is. So politicians have essentially abused people like that. And we have found in our channel, since we've been doing this live for about a year or so, we haven't been doing it very long, but we've probably found $100 million, $200, $300 million in lifetime benefits. Her alone, probably $500,000, because if you're looking at $1,000 over every month for the next 20, 30, 40 years, that's probably $250,000, $500,000 right there. So we've done that. Y'all have done that on a regular basis. So we probably found hundreds of millions, billions of dollars or so in fraud, waste, and abuse by politicians. Waste, don't get us started on waste. Politicians make, sweetheart deals with Medicare pharmaceutical companies, Medicare Advantage plans, paying them extra, the healthcare system. Waste in terms of taking care of our money that we put in the trust fund, and it's running out. So the money is not disappeared or anything like that. That's one of the things that politicians do, try to lie to us, distract us. The money is still there. It just with any savings, eventually savings run out. So there's over $2 trillion sitting in the Social Security Trust Fund. And if you're receiving a Social Security check, then you're getting about 10% of your Social Security check comes from the trust fund. The other 90% comes from people in your community paying into FICA taxes. So 10% comes from that trust fund, the savings account that we put away for decades. And just with any savings account, it eventually goes away. And for 40 years, politicians have known about this and they refuse to do anything about it. So fraud, waste, and abuse, let's turn the tables. And if fraud, waste, if using those three words can let us do anything we want, if politicians can use those three words to do anything they want, then maybe we can use those three words to do anything we want. But I don't know, if we were a participatory democracy, maybe. So, all right. So that's the real fraud, waste, and abuse that's being perpetrated on the American public. Okay, Steve, been waiting 2.5 years to get my first retirement check, and the timing couldn't be worse because the government is closed. I do have a couple of questions to ask, but not sure if openly is appropriate. So yeah, if you want to ask general questions, obviously not specific, your Social Security number or anything like that. But if you want to ask any general questions, this is the time to do it. But the government is closed, but Social Security is considered essential services. I ran the third, if you're new to my channel, I ran the third busiest Social Security office in the country, and I've been through several shutdowns. I was a few shutdowns when I was in the Marine Corps, and Social Security is essential services, so they are open. So you can file for benefits. If you're just looking for simple retirement benefits, and you're not looking for any of the other 20 or 30, 40 programs that Social Security administers, that's one of the problems. People think, oh, it's just, you file online. It's so easy. No, I did a video on that a few days ago. But number one thing is to make sure you check your earnings record. That's the most important thing. Go on to ssa.gov, check mysocialsecurity.gov, and check to make sure your earnings record is correct. Because if that's wrong, you're going to get the wrong check for the rest of your life. But yeah, if you have any general questions, absolutely, go ahead and ask them. All right, let's jump around some questions. Now, do I see why I would elect Dr. Weir for the new commissioner for the Social Security Administration? Don't think he wants the bureaucratic headache. No, I don't. Yeah, I'm never running for political office. No way, shape, or form. So absolutely not. Yeah, I'm too in your face sometimes. And yeah, I wouldn't make a good politician because I can't shut up sometimes. But anyway, but yeah, there is a commissioner of the Social Security Administration, but I guess this administration doesn't think 71 million people on Social Security, you people aren't a big deal to the current administration. And I'm sure a lot of people are yelling at me right now. Okay, If the Social Security Administration is important for the current administration, why did they give the current commissioner of the Social Security Administration, Frank Bisignano, a second job as the CEO of the IRS? This is the first time ever since the invention of Social Security in 1935 that the commissioner of Social Security is moonlighting as the commissioner of Social Security, because this administration doesn't think Social Security is a big issue, that 71 million people, the fact that your benefits are going to be cut here by 23%, everybody's benefits going to, it's all not a big deal. No, nothing to see here. Yeah, you're good. Don't really care. Commissioner of Social Security, don't worry about that. You can do that on the weekend, your spare time or whatever. You're now the CEO of the IRS. Yeah, explain that. Makes no sense. Harry was able to apply for Medicare Part A online. After getting through the security, it took only 5 minutes to complete the application. Absolute, perfect. Awesome, I was going to say. So yeah, if you're just filing for Part A because you're turning 65, it's automatic sometimes. If Harry was receiving Social Security benefits, then they would sign you up for Part A and Part B automatically. If you were receiving health insurance at that time, then you just go ahead and, refuse Part B. You can't refuse Part A. 99.9% of people cannot refuse Part A if they're currently receiving Social Security benefits. But B, you can refuse. So Harry has health insurance from work. I hope he does. If not, he's going to be penalized in the future. So Harry has health insurance from current work, his or his spouse's, and that employer has 20 people in that health plan. And because of that, he doesn't have to sign up for Part B, and he just signs up for Part A, online application, pretty easy, prove your status, your age, all that kind of stuff. If it's already proven in the system, they assume that, so it's pretty easy. So yeah, if you know exactly what you need, this is the problem, Harry, is you knew exactly what you need. Harry's, I think, is a regular viewer here, so he knew exactly what was going on. But there's a lot of people out there, like this young lady that we helped, just don't know. And there's the independently entitled divorced spouse benefits and disabled widows benefits and DAC benefits and LSDM. And yeah, there's this LIS, and there's so many programs. People think Social Security is just retirement and Social Security cards, and they think AI can do it, and it's just so much more. I'm so happy for the woman who's receiving her surviving spouse benefits after too many years. And Harry, you were part of that. I know Harry's regularly been here a few times, and I'm sure he's subscribed and made a comment and liked and all that kind of stuff, and you're the reason. And Bella and Nona Dona and Nancy, and let me see some Music Box World and Penelope and Take and Took and who else? Terracotta, and I'm random life things, all the regulars that show up and make comments and teach these stupid algorithms that are focused on making us hate each other. They can be trained just like a puppy to pee where they're supposed to, I guess. I was again, Deborah Joyce, I was again turned down for an application to request my widow's pension benefits by the Social Security office, October 23rd. What did they tell you? So there's in order to get widow's benefits, widower benefits, Social Security calls it surviving spouse benefits, you need to be eligible. For surviving spouse benefits, if it's a divorce type situation, you had to be married 10 years. If it wasn't a divorce type situation, if you married to the person, just like the young lady that we helped, you just had to be married to that person for 9 months. There's actually a couple exceptions there. And then you're not currently married, but you can be married if you remarried after 60. So are you currently married? You weren't married to that person for 9 months, or it was a divorce and not married 10 months or 10 years. The only other way would be, it depends on how old you are and whether the benefits of surviving spouse benefits are more than your current benefits. But there are ways to get around that, suspend your current benefits. It really depends how old you are. So Deborah, give us a little bit more information. And we've got a lot of questions. And if I don't get to your question, remember, you can ask a video question. You go onto our website, MyGovExpert. Let me take this off here. Go onto our website there, and you click on the little question or comment thing on the bottom left, and you can record up to a 2-minute video if you've got more details. But hopefully I see your more details question here. Bella, what's up, Bella? Are you back from the hospital? Oh, 88 checks and large cuts. We will contact lawmakers to lift the FICA cap. Please call lawmakers. Absolutely. So people, I'm sure some politicians will say, but we did raise the cap. I don't know what Ed's talking about. We just raised the cap. Yeah, they raise the cap every year. The cap was raised from $176,100 to $184,500 for 2026. Anything over that, if you make $5 million, if you make $184,501, you don't pay FICA Social Security tax on that extra $1, anything over that amount. And that's the number one reason why the trust fund is running out. There's two solutions. There's either raise the cap so people pay Social Security tax on every dollar they make, just like the rest of us schmoes, or, as Mark Cuban says, come on, corporations, you're making trillions of dollars of profits. It's time to share that with the people that actually kind of showed up for work. I've gotten Amazon deliveries a lot, too much. And I have never once seen Jeff Bezos deliver those packages. So I think there's other people that work at that factory. Well, now they're all going to be replaced by what they announced, 600,000 robots or something. Or they're not going to hire 600,000 people. They're going to give it to AI and robots. So, all right, let's see. Brian, who got all this money? I could use a few bucks in 71. Retired wife holding the house together, retired because of injury, out of work 3 years. It sucks. Haven't seen a dime. What can we do? So number one is, this is why we do this live Q&A after every topic we talk about every day, is to make sure your current benefit amount is correct, like that one young lady that we helped. And this, this is not only her, we've thousands of people we've reached over the last year. So number one is to make sure you're getting every penny you're eligible for, every penny you paid into. So retired wife holding the house together. So remember, here's what, not sure if this applies to you. Hopefully your check is correct, but there's a lot of people that don't have a correct check. If you're currently married, remember one spouse can get benefits off the other spouse if the lower earning spouse, their benefit amount is less than half of the higher earning spouse. And what often happens, we've seen way too many times that people look at the wrong numbers. They look at their checks, and that's not what you look at. That's called the MBA, the monthly benefit amount. You don't look at that number. You don't look at that number because one of you might have taken your benefits early, or you've got the deductions from Medicare, or Part D, or whatever the case may be. So that's not the number you look at. You look at your PIA, which is your primary insurance amount, the benefit you would have received if you wait till full retirement age. That's what Social Security looks at to determine whether one spouse can get benefits on another spouse. So the way you find that out is going to My Social Security, and it'll say, hey, it won't say it as a PIA. They should change it and make it as a, primary insurance amount, PIA, also known as how much you would get at your full retirement age. That's how they have it listed. So it'll say, at your full retirement age, you'd have gotten this amount. If you can't get in there, just call, if it looks like it might be close and one might be able to get benefits on another, call up Social Security just to double check and say, hey, what's this guy's PIA? What's my PIA? Any money there? And then the other thing is, that's if you're both alive and kicking. For surviving spouses, here's another thing people mess up with, is surviving spouses. It's not 50%. You can receive up to 100%. So a lot of people, they get told by Social Security, they say, hey, am I eligible for benefits on this guy's record or this gal's record? And they say, oh, they look at the benefit amount. Oh, yours is not, less than half, and they say no. And then you don't file, and then you think you're not entitled to benefits on that person's record forever. And then that person passes away, and now you are, because the way the benefits are calculated. There's way too many people out there. Again, that's the fraud on the American people. Social Security is supposed to do a far better job of notifying people of that and helping people get their benefits, but politicians refuse to, they don't want Social Security to succeed. There's half of the politicians that definitely don't want Social Security to succeed, and the other half, I guess, maybe, but they're doing a pretty shitty, excuse my French, pretty terrible job of doing that, because benefits are going to be cut by 23% in a few years. So obviously they weren't successful though. So they weren't very good at their job. He is the CEO of the IRS to get his hands on their database, in addition to driving certain audits and browsing of specific records. Yeah, I think you're 100% right there. Allegedly, right? So, yeah, and the CEO of the IRS is there. There's no such thing. They had to make up the title. Yeah, so they made up the title. All right, let's see. I get SSI. I'm waiting for SSDI federal court. Please explain what that means. So SSI is supplemental security income. It's the welfare-based, low-income, low-resource program that Social Security administers. You can get it based on being disabled or being age 65 and older. So you were approved for SSI, but they denied you for SSDI. So it wasn't denied because of a disability, because you were approved for disability because you're getting SSI, unless you're 65 and older. So if you're under 65, the SSDI, you were denied for SSDI. You file an appeal. It was denied. You filed another appeal. The administrative law judge denied it. You filed another appeal, and it went to Falls Church, Virginia, the appeals council, and they denied it. And now you're at the federal level. And you can find all that information for those people that are new here, on my website, mygovexpert.com. It goes into the appeals process, and my website is 100% free. I do have a retired Social Security employee that does one-on-one phone appointments, and she charges for that. That helps, with all the overhead that we have. But yeah, so level 1, reconsideration, level 2, level 3. So you're a level 4. So I am assuming, I'm not sure you or your lawyer, you probably have a lawyer at that time. They should explain what you're suing about. But it's probably your insured status. With Social Security disability, there's a couple of insured statuses. One that you actually paid into Social Security for at least 10 years, most depending on your age. And the other one is that you paid 5 out of the last 10 years. So, yeah. Steve, your address, a video question I left you a couple of weeks ago. I applied for retirement 2.5 years ago and have not received any checks. My Social Security portal is empty, turned away at Social Security application gone. Oh, okay. So you asked a question a couple of weeks ago, a video question. So, and then you're applying, yeah, you need to file a reconsideration, as I just showed up there, the SSA 561, request for reconsideration. Because, yeah, if you applied 2.5 years ago, one of the things that people mistake is when they call Social Security and they set up an appointment, and the person setting up the appointment asks you some questions. And some people, I'm not saying this is you, but some people think that's an application. No, you actually have to fulfill the application. You've got a lot more. You've got to, do it online or talk to someone directly in the office, or go to a phone appointment or something like that, and they ask you a whole bunch of questions, and then you get the application in the mail with the final numbers and everything. But it sounds like you went through the process and didn't finish the process. Maybe there were some documents that they needed, a birth certificate, a proof of U.S. citizenship or legal status in the country or something, and you do need that. So all those people that are being lied to by politicians that say illegal immigrants, undocumented immigrants receive Social Security benefits, that's all BS. They don't receive retirement benefits or Medicare or SSDI or SSI. Yeah, you stop falling for politicians' BS, distractions. So yeah, you need to file a 561, or go ahead and do a brand new application. And then when you're going through the brand new application, so in your case, I wouldn't do it online. I would schedule an appointment to go in the office, or schedule a phone appointment and get it done with an actual human being. And then at that time, tell them, hey, what's going on? That might be a protective filing issue where they can start your benefits 2 years ago. So, Mercedes, I don't think I recognize you. Welcome to our awesome community. Thank you for all the help you offer. I called Social Security office to request a review on my PIA and my husband's PIA. He will be getting $196 more per month from my Social Security. Awesome. All right. See, look at there. $200 a month times 12, and he's going to live for another 60 years. So there's another, $500,000, $250,000 or so. So you guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. They want a weak Social Security director. Yeah. I mean, how else can you explain it? How else can you explain, the fact that 71 million Americans out there think one of the most important thing is to make sure they get the right check at the right time every single month. And to put the person that's in charge of that, ultimately the buck stops with him. They said, just, work on that on your own time. I was late getting my Medicare payment for Part B in. I did file for Part B on time. Is there any way that I could do something to remove the penalties? So you signed up for Part B and you weren't receiving Social Security benefits, so they didn't take it out of your Social Security check automatically, and they billed you quarterly. That's how they usually do it, unless you set up a monthly setup, directly out of your bank account. If they don't get the payment, then and if you missed a deadline, you can always, on everything Social Security, you can request a reconsideration. So someone made the decision that you didn't get it on time and this, that, and the other, and there might be extenuating circumstances. So when you request a reconsideration, you're requesting someone else to take a second look at it. So in your case, I would have someone else take a second look and see if they can do it. But if not, then unfortunately, usually that's pretty cut and dry, but there's always extenuating circumstances. Jamie, what's up, Jamie and the whole family there? Can you tell me that if what you were approved for changed, are they supposed to change your benefit amount if you're blind? If SSI is a completely different situation, if you are, so you're currently receiving, if it's a retirement benefit, it doesn't matter. But if you're receiving disability benefits, and then you go blind or visually impaired, not necessarily fully blind, but visually impaired, and there's certain parameters that Social Security has to abide by. If that's the situation and you are in fact receiving disability benefits, then I would 100% notify Social Security and tell them, because there's a lot of different, and particularly the substantial gainful activity. So if you're receiving disability benefits this year and you're working, you can work as long as you stay under $1,620. If you're blind, you can earn up to $2,700 and still continue to receive your disability benefits. So, but if it's retirement benefits or survivor benefits or spouse benefits or anything like that, it doesn't matter. Only if it's disability. So, I share your upcoming videos every day with 5 groups on True Social. Awesome. Awesome. And so you helped that lady out today just as much as I did. So you're awesome. Why did I charge for my wife being my payee? Because she got a raise. Now I'm my own payee and got charged $1,200 1 year of $108 a month my check. Just got it done and should get a full check. Yeah, having a representative payee is not an issue that will affect your monthly benefit amount at all, unless your representative payee messed something up. So a payee. So Social Security does not recognize power of attorney. Why? Because Social Security always wants you to take care of your own benefits. That's just the policy. They want you to take care of your own benefits. But if you're unable to, for whatever physical or mental issue or whatever, then they can appoint a representative payee to take care of your benefits for your welfare. So they're appointed the representative payee, and so that person can change your address and call on your behalf, and you can't even call on your behalf if you have a representative payee, because there's some people out there that need a representative payee because they have the mental issues and they cause trouble with their own account. So we can't even talk to those people. The Social Security can't talk to those people if you have a representative payee. And the reason they don't recognize a power of attorney is because a power of attorney, when you give someone power of attorney, you're saying, hey, I am of sound mind and body, and I'm completely cool with this. This is I'm going to give this person a power of attorney to take care of my stuff. And Social Security says, if you're that cool, calm, and collected and all that, then you can take care of your own Social Security. So that's why they don't recognize a power of attorney. You can use a lawyer complained one time. Don't tell people they don't need a power of attorney. I never said that, lawyers. I'm just saying Social Security doesn't recognize power of attorney. But if you or someone loved one is having a hard time taking care of their benefits, you can be appointed the representative payee for that person to take care of that person's benefits. It has nothing to do with how much being charged or anything like that. That's a whole separate issue. So not exactly sure you have an overpayment that maybe the representative payee caused and now you just learned about it, or you caused it and the representative payee didn't tell you about it. Yeah, so but the representative payee has nothing to do with in and of itself has nothing to do with having an overpayment or anything like that. So ballroom was paid for by private funds. Yes, by donors, and not sure what they're getting in return, but donors have paid for stuff throughout, that's fine. But when millions of people are losing their health insurance, when millions of people are losing their food benefits for next year, in this economy, is a golden ballroom really the best thing we should be focusing on? And the spokesman said this is the 100% focus of the president, is that ballroom, and not, for instance, the fact that your checks are going to be cut by 23% in a few years. So yeah, priorities. The only problem with that, Nona, is that some abbreviations could only apply to other things. Okay, yeah, Social Security has way too many abbreviations. Yeah, I've got too many abbreviations in my head, even leftover Marine Corps abbreviations. I'll throw out there for the Marines, brass. I remember what brass is. Yeah, on the firing line. Breathe, relax, aim, stop, squeeze. Anyway, let's see. Sandy, possibly it doesn't matter that he is remarried. Okay, someone answering some other questions. That's why y'all are awesome. And remember, that's what our new website is. I'm making some changes to our website. The new one, which is the 24help.org. This is the website because you all help each other on a daily basis when we do these live Q&As, but it's hard to help other people off and get help afterwards. So we put together a new website specifically for that. So if you need help, you can help. Make sure you subscribe. And I'm making some changes to the front page here to make it easier to navigate and get us together here. So 100% free. Join it, and let's help as many people out there as we possibly can. Thank you very much for the information. You're welcome. Let's see here. Get some other people I don't recognize. Rick, at least I'm getting half my check right now because of the shutdown. Yeah, you shouldn't be getting half the check. You should be getting your full check. Shutdown has no relevance to Social Security. Well, it does. Social Security employees are essential. Those are essential services. You need your check. You need to file for benefits, retirement benefits, survivor benefits, whatever the case may be. There's certain things that they can't do. There's exceptions during the shutdown, and that's give just a replacement Social Security card, give a work history for those people that are looking, they need a work history for a job or something like that. So there's certain things they're not allowed to do during a shutdown. But even then, if it's a dire need, you can usually make a case and get that stuff taken care of as well. So I was married over 10 years. I'm on SSDI, but my ex isn't retired yet. Would I still be able to get some of the retirement benefits before he retires? Yes. That is called independently entitled divorced spouse. And I'm sure we've found couple of $100 million for people out there on that one alone, but there's still probably $1 billion, other $100 million out there that, yeah, people are losing. So, Sandy, independently entitled divorce spouse. So if you're married to that person for 10 years, you're currently receiving benefits on your own record, but you're receiving SSDI. You have to be 62 years old unless that person has passed away. But if you're 62 years old, you're getting benefits, so that's good. And you can get benefits on his record. You were married for 10 years. He just has to be at least 62 years old. He does not have to be receiving benefits. That's where the independently entitled divorce spouse thing comes in. And the only other thing is you have to be divorced. The final divorce has to be 2 years. So you have to be divorced for 2 years. And then I've got that on my website here. If you look on family benefits, and it's independent divorce spouse, you click on, so you go to MyGov Expert. So we've got two websites, mygovexpert.com, that deals with Social Security and Medicare. And then the other one deals with, Social Security, Medicare, but also Medicaid, the Affordable Care Act, energy assistance, food stamps, legal help, and anything and everything we can think of to help as many people as possible. So family benefits. You click on family benefits and you go to independently entitled divorce spouse benefits. And important here is that I've also on this one put the reference here, because regular viewers can attest over the year that we're doing this live Q&A, we have told people, hey, your ex doesn't have to be receiving benefits. As long as they're 62 and you've been divorced for 2 years and your benefit amount is less than half of his or hers, then you can file for benefits. And I tell them that, and then they go down to the local Social Security office and the person at front window says, no, your ex has to be receiving benefits. And then they come back and they yell at me and said, yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. And then so we had to put the reference on there. So this is the actual Social Security reference. Let me double check to make sure the link is working here still. Hopefully it pops up here. There it goes. So there it is right there. So you might want to have that in hand in case you go down to local Social Security office if you're eligible and they say, no, your ex has to be receiving benefits. And you say, nope, here it is right here. And again, 10 years and married for 2 years, divorced for 2 years, and your benefit amount is less than half of his. And remember, a lot of people, here's another thing, a lot of people like you don't want to go out there and get other benefits because you're receiving Social Security disability insurance. And people are saying, why? Why wouldn't they want to go get an extra $2,000 or an extra $200,000, $300,000, whatever? Because they think let's say they're 62 years old or 63 years old and they're receiving disability benefits. And then if they switch to survivor or switch to spouse benefits or divorce spouse benefits, their disability will end, and sure, they'll be able to get extra money, but they're going to lose their Medicare. And they need their Medicare. They need their health insurance. People need their health insurance. But that's not accurate. If you're receiving Social Security disability insurance and you're eligible for other benefits, you'll continue to receive the disability insurance and the other benefits are added on top. One offsets the other, but they're added on top. So you continue to get your Medicare. So that's not an issue whatsoever. But some people are scared to go get it and they're losing hundreds and they're suffering because they're not getting that extra benefits. So, Andrew, what's up, Andrew? I think first time here, first time I see you. How you doing? I love the hat. Dr. Ed, my wife wants to apply for spouse benefits. She still works. She is 64. I'm still working and at full retirement age. Will she be able to apply? Okay, so it depends how much she works this year. If she makes over $23,400, then Social Security will hold back $1 for every $2 she goes over. So if she's making under the $23,400, then yes, she'll get the benefits withheld. And next year, let me pull up the new numbers for next year. So for 2026, that limit is $24,480. So anything over that, Social Security is going to hold back $1 for every $2 she goes over until she hits her full retirement age. Once she hits her full retirement age, then she can make as much as she wants and continue to collect benefits. So, and what's this $2,040 a month? Okay, so for the new viewers out there, basically, when you first file for Social Security benefits, Social Security doesn't care what you make before you start your Social Security benefits. So if you make $1 billion before you start your benefits, Social Security doesn't care. It's not going to affect you negatively. The month you start your Social Security benefits, they're say, okay, you made $1 billion up until this month, October. How much are you going to make in November, December? That's the only thing we care about. If for this year, if you're going to stay under $1,950 for November, $1,950 for December, they can start your benefits in November, no problem. Next year, in this particular case, you just have to stay under the $24,480. You can only use the monthly thing when you first start your benefits. So, all right. Oh, we got some trolls out there. Yeah, we're pretty lucky. We don't get a lot of trolls here, so we're super, super lucky. Knock on wood. Take into consideration that Trump works for free and other donors aren't obligated to feed the masses. Okay, all right. Yeah, he's made billions of dollars since the beginning of the year. So yeah, the $100,000 or $200,000 he gets from Social Security or from presidential pay is yeah. We have the greatest kindness people here. Yes, it's sad that some bad apples have to show up. Thank you, Dr. Aiden Group Chat. I don't see any. Yeah, I'm the only one here doing this, so it's unfortunate I can't, delete the trolls as quickly as possible. But yeah, well. Let's see here. Silver, they used to be helpful and caring. Now seems to just be a lot of hate anyone different ideas than them, not good or helpful. Yeah. Are we talking about Social Security employees or they used to be? Yeah. Yeah. One of the ironies of this is I knew this, I had about 100 employees in my office and 99 of them were awesome. And then every now and then we'd have one person and we'd get rid of that person. But one of the things I think Elon Musk and Doge kicked out the most technical experts because they were, close to retirement. They were going to stick around for another year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, or whatever the case may be. And those senior people were kind of pushed out. So you've got offices throughout the country that have lost that institutional knowledge, that technical knowledge. And because there's also a hiring freeze, that if a district manager, so like any position out there, any job out there, if you can't hire someone, you really think twice about firing someone because you're like, okay, this person has terrible bedside manner. They're not very nice. They only produce, 70% of what everybody else does. And I would really like to get rid of that person, but I can't because I can't replace that person. So if I fire that, 70% of that person's workload I have to give to other people, and it's going to stress them out even more. It's going to get even worse, and it's a snowball effect. So yeah, so there's a lot of district managers out there that are just tolerating substandard employees, and I guarantee they want to fire those people because it makes the entire place toxic, and they would really like to fire them, but it would make everybody else's work more. And all the other employees are like, yeah, we really like, yeah, can you fire that person? I used to say, sure, we can, I used to say, yeah, we stopped doing public executions in the parking lot a long time ago. People always wanted to, hear people's dirty laundry and we couldn't tell them. But sure, we can fire, that person and that person and that person, but that means y'all's workload is going to increase. And people think, oh, okay, second thought. All right, I'll just ignore that person in the break room or whatever. So that's the unfortunate part. When my wife and DAC son apply to take off of my Social Security, what documents do they need to take to the Social Security meeting? Son takes from my wife now. Okay, perfect. So your wife is collecting Social Security benefits, retirement benefits, disabled benefits, whatever the case may be, and you have a disabled adult son receiving 50% of your wife's benefit amount. And then when you file for benefits, sounds like your benefit amount is higher, so they will switch it's kind of a dual type of thingy, simultaneous. But anyway, they'll your son will get the higher benefit. So they just need probably not anything, because I'm sure on the Nubident that your name is on when you filed for your son's Social Security card. Your name was listed on there, so they can use that as proof. If the Nubident, everything is perfect on there, they can use that. But just in case, I would probably take the birth certificate. Other than that, they don't need to prove the child is disabled or anything like that, because it's already been proven. If you want to switch the representative payee, if your wife is the representative payee, then you might want to switch it to your own. But if you can keep it to whoever, either one of you can be the representative payee. So yeah, it's pretty easy, pretty easy. Silver, thanks, Doctor. I've been helping a few people to get benefits. I don't send them here because they're already stressed, and this chat lately will just make them more stressed. Yeah. So yeah, I apologize for that. One day I'll get a moderator on here on live, and kick out some of the unsavory people. But I received an email from Social Security regarding the 2.8% COLA. However, the benefit letter that appeared when I signed in was from 2023, not 2025. What do I do? Yeah, the new letters haven't come out. So it's just an email saying, hey, 2.8%, aren't we awesome? Da, da, da. The new letters, you don't have to do anything. They haven't done the new letters yet or anything. They just sent you a super quick email. So after I file for Social Security, can I still report to them if any of my years of reported income is wrong? Will Social Security correct it? Sorry for large caps. No problem. Yeah, absolutely. There is kind of a statute of limitations. It's strange. 3 years, 3 months, and 3 days. I don't know what politicians came up with that. Anyway, but there's so many exceptions to the exceptions on that one. So if you've been receiving benefits, let's say for 10 years, and you find that, oh, I didn't notice that in 1982, it says 0 when I was working for the same place I did in 81 and 83, let me check that out. And then usually those gap years like that, where it's 1 year that's a 0 or 2 years that's a 0, those earnings are in what's called a suspense file. It's just sitting out there in limbo because someone typed the Social Security number wrong in 1982. So you tell them that, and they will look at your year before, the year after. They'll look at the employer identification number, and they'll look at the suspense file, and they'll say, hey, yeah, Mike. Yeah, okay, here it is right here. It's got your first name, last name, same employer, about the same amount you made the previous year, the year after. The Social Security number is exactly the same except for the last 2, or it says 1-2, but it's actually 2-1, so somebody typed in it wrong. So they will pull those earnings out of the suspense file. They'll put it in your SEQI, your earnings record. And then the magic happens. They will recalculate your benefits. And if your benefits were wrong for 10 years because of an early unreported thing, they will give you 10 years of back pay. So if they say, oh yeah, that increases your benefit by $10 a month, you'll get $10 a month going forward, and then they'll give you all that back pay in one lump sum payment. So most people are good people. That's Dr. Yes, I 100%. But one thing, yeah, these 6 or 7 companies that control all of social media, they have determined that, having us hate each other and, rage algorithms are where they make money. So they're bringing people down that path. Let's see. Sandy, Penelope. Oh, Penelope is one of our regulars. I think she was an old retired Social Security employee because she knows everything. Just call and ask your appointment. Okay, so she's giving out information. Thank you for being here, Penelope, looking out for others. And remember, Penelope, we've got the new website. It has a section on retirement benefits, Social Security, retirement, disability, and all that. So people, it's a brand new website, brand new. So let me see here. So, Okay, let me make sure I get Mary there. So yeah, so for Social Security and stuff, it has different sections of retirement, disability, survivor benefits, Medicare, family benefits, and then discussions on each. So once we get more and more people to get in there and start discussing, we get more people out there helping other people get the benefits that they need. And the other resources, we're also having kind of hubs for people to see if they can help or need help in all these other categories. So this is a brand new website, and now we just need life and blood in it by getting more people. And it's 100% free. And you have to register for it because we want to be able to kick people off that are not playing nice. But we're not going to send you, emails. I've got an email list that people said, hey, join my email list. And I don't think I've sent out an email in 6 months. Sorry. I don't bug you with emails. So, everyone who wants to learn is welcome here. We don't have to engage with those we don't agree with. Yeah, exactly. But we should have a civil debate. So, let's see what else here. Mike's again. After I filed, okay, yes, that's the same question. We are so glad that people are still able to laugh even on the brink of destruction. Yes, a kind of gallows humor, right? Let's see here. Social Security and SSDI entitlement getting your checks in November. Yes, checks are continuing. So there's a lot of social media people out there that, are doing 100% scare tactics. So I called Social Security. It took an hour and a half for a call back, but so what? I'm retired and my question got resolved. Awesome. Good deal. Good deal. So hopefully everything is good and they give you all the right information. And now you just need to go out there and make sure all those other people out there that have more difficult cases than yours get the help that they need. So I love this YouTube family. Thank you, Dr. Ed. You're welcome. I am 100% there. I agree with you. You've got some awesome people. Let's see. Let's get some actual questions here. All right. Cajun, once a disabled person turns 18, can they file for Social Security under their working parents? Okay. So I think I know what this is about. So yeah, you actually file under your working, you can file under your parents, but your parents have to be receiving benefits, either retirement or disability benefits. Or if one of them has passed away, you can file for surviving child benefits and get benefits up until you're age 18 or until you graduate high school or 19 and 2 months. But if you're disabled, then if you're under 18, you're receiving child disability benefits, SSI. And if your parents are not receiving benefits, then you can't file under theirs. And unless they've passed or they're receiving benefits. And that's called the disabled adult child benefit that we were just talking about. In that case, you have to prove that you became disabled before the age of 22. So let's say one of your parents is receiving Social Security benefits and you're receiving SSI, child disability benefits, you're under 18. What will happen is it's an age 18 is Social Security does there's different criteria, disability criteria for children versus adults. So if you're a child receiving disability benefits, when you turn 18, they kind of review your case and stuff and do the criteria based on being an adult. But your benefits will continue as long as they determine you are in fact disabled. So Nutter Butter, thank you, Dr. Weir. I applied for ex-spouse's Social Security, which would be lower, and instead received SSI. Thank you. Oh, okay. So, okay, good. Well, that's good. So it sounds as though you were receiving benefits on your own record, and it was under $967. And you said, well, let me see if I can file for benefits under the X. And they checked, and for whatever reason, that person is under 62, or you weren't married for 10 years, whatever the case may be, you weren't eligible for benefits at that time. But it sounds like the Social Security employee went one step beyond. Well, they did what they're supposed to do. And they said, hey, I'm looking at your record here and you're receiving under $967. And they started asking you some financial questions. Do you have any other income? Do you have resources over $2,000 or $3,000? And you said, no, no, no. And they said, okay, then there is this program called SSI, Supplemental Security Income, that you can get some benefits for. And the max is $967. So if you were receiving benefits on your own record that was like, say, $500, you'll receive the $500 and then you'll receive the difference up to $967. So you receive $500 on your own record and then $467 from SSI. And then remember, if you're receiving SSI, then you're also categorically eligible for Medicaid. So reach out to your state and apply for Medicaid, and that might save you some more money. And then if you have Medicare and Medicaid, you can also apply for those Medicare Advantage dual eligible plans. And you can reach out to our partners at Chapter there, and they can help you out finding a Medicare Advantage plan. And remember the 7 Ps, if this is the annual enrollment period, October 15th and December 7th. So you definitely need to review your plan, health insurance, Medicare Advantage plans. Hate when you review your plans, because then you might find something better. But review your plan, and doesn't matter who you use. We recommend Chapter because they help you throughout the year. They just don't help you sign up, but they help you throughout the year fight the plans, the companies, make sure you get what you're eligible for. So whoever you use that you know and trust, have your current plan available so you can compare with what's available for 2026. If you have a particular physician or specialist that you definitely want to keep seeing, make sure you have that person's name, your prescriptions, the dosage, tablet, extended release. You have all that information so you save as much money and you make sure those drugs are covered. If you have a particular pharmacy you like to support, have that name. Your priorities, need more dental, vision, whatever. And then prices. You're like, well, Medicare Advantage, there's zero premium. Yes, a lot of them, most of them are, but then they charge you on the back end for an MRI or an X-ray or a night in a hospital. So those are the prices you need to check out. And then the 7th P is persistence, because when you sign up for a Medicare Advantage plan, that just begins. So if they deny you for whatever reason, it's nice to have someone in your corner. That's why we partnered up with Chapter there, and their help is 100% free. Just like every other health agent, broker out there, they don't charge for anything for that. But yeah, they'll definitely help you out. And okay, we've got a few video questions. Let's go ahead and answer some of those.
Hi, my question is that I am turning 65 in December. I am going to continue to work and have an employee group health plan. It's a normal PPO. Do I have to take Medicare A? Everybody at work's telling me I do. And I have a healthcare spending account. It's not connected to my insurance. It's not like one of those high healthcare spending accounts. So I just want to make sure if I have just a regular healthcare spending account where I take out so much money every month to put toward extras above and beyond my PPO and my drug coverage that I have through my PPO.
Okay, so wow, she is good. No, you do not have to sign up for Part A, but a lot of people do, because for you, it sounds like for 99.9% of people out there, and for you, it definitely sounds like, is it's zero premium. Medicare Part A is zero. But you don't necessarily have to sign up for it. So you can go ahead and sign up for Part A, refuse Part B because you have health insurance from work, current work, and your employer has 20 more employees. So you don't have to sign up for Part B. Don't waste the $185. Sign up for Part A. Why? Because it sounds like you definitely check everything very, very well. So that's a beautiful thing. So you're trying to save as much money. So that's why you do this and do this other thing. And if you have Part A, then let me show you. So this is for 2025. Part A, so Part A covers the hospitals, not the doctors, just the overnight in the hospital. If you're actually admitted, they Yeah. Anyway, so Part A, the deductible is $1,676, and that could be several times a year. It's not an annual deductible. But anyway, if you go into the hospital, let's say next year, and your health care plan, your current one, sometimes that one might have like a $3,000 deductible, but Part A has a deductible of $1,676. So you've just saved, $1,400 or so. So, and it's zero premium. So I would say go for it. And that's why most people sounds like at your job say, go for it. It's free and some extra coverage there. And so again, I shouldn't say it's free because you paid for it all those decades you paid into your FICA payroll tax through Medicare. So it's nothing free. It eventually comes from somewhere. So, but it's zero premium going forward. So yeah. And then under the One Big Beautiful Bill, that's one thing that was actually good on the One Big Beautiful Bill, was that they changed before you couldn't sign up. You couldn't get the tax benefits anymore if you signed up for Part A and you had one of those health savings account. It looks as though the One Big Beautiful Bill has changed that for 2026. But supposedly, allegedly, the final determination hasn't come out on that one yet. All right, let's see what else we got here.
My name's Tim Ashwood, and I have a simple question. I have cerebral palsy, and I've been working all my life, but I'm wondering, I'm 66 years old now. Can I collect Social Security as if I were 70 years of age? Since my life expectancy when I Googled it was 30 to 70 years of age. And so I'm within 4 years of that. So could I get it right now as if I were 70?
Unfortunately, no. No, you get it based on your age. And he goes on a little bit. He talks about politicians doing strange stuff, and that is correct. Let's say for Medicare. So all of these laws can't be changed. If we decide to do stuff, if we decide to save Social Security and we stop with the stupid distractions about, it was given to illegals or it was stolen and all this kind of, BS that, politicians are very good at distracting us. If we got together and actually did stuff, we could get a lot of stuff done. But divide and conquer has worked a few thousand years and it's still working very, very well. But let's say when you turn 65, you can get your Medicare. If you're on disability benefits, you get it after 2 years. You have to be on disability for 2 years in order to get Medicare, which is one of the stupidest policies that Medicare has. But anyway, if you have Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS, you get it sooner. ESRD, you get it sooner. Why? Because politicians fought for that. So that was their pet project that they would fight so those people could get Medicare earlier. And there's other stuff like that. But in your particular case, no. Unfortunately, it's 100% logical what you're arguing, but no, unfortunately. So let's see what else.
Hey, Dr. Ed, how you doing today? I got a question. I just got a letter from the State of California Health and Welfare Agency, California Department of Social Services, and it tells me a notice of action, Medi-Cal termination as of 10/31/25. I know people on SDI receive these renewal forms. Do people on SSDI also receive these? Because I noticed on the renewal form when I was filling it out that it said SDI on the form, not SSDI. And also, isn't SDI a limit of $900 and some dollars if they have my last input in their income for $1,680?
Okay, so they're just getting the acronyms kind of messed up here. So that person was denied a renewal for Medicaid, and in California they call Medicaid Medi-Cal. A lot of states call it a different thing. So it's one of the reasons Medicaid is getting cut by about $1 trillion. Is one of the reasons is politicians are. Okay, I won't finish that sentence. But a lot of people say, I don't care about it. I'm not getting Medicaid. I'm getting Medi-Cal, or I'm getting Denali Care, and I'm getting Access in Arizona. Well, I'm sorry, that's Medicaid, and you're going to get cut. Even those people that are eligible. are going to get cut because of what's called bureaucratic disenrollment. They're going to make it so difficult for you to continue getting your benefits, be eligible for those benefits, and continue to get those benefits. You're going to get cut even if you're eligible, unless you fight for it and you know how to fight for it. So that's one of the reasons we set up our new website, 24help.org. So when those things start coming in mass, that's why we have to have enough people in our community there that are active and looking out in their particular states and, you know, saying, okay, in this particular states, here's how they're trying to kick people off. If you forget to sign it, that second place on the third page where it's a little bitty thing where you have to sign that. If you don't sign it in that third page exactly and date it exactly, then they're going to deny your application. So there's going to be all kinds of bureaucratic disenrollment. So in this particular person's case, I think you're just confusing. The Medi-Cal, your Medicaid, is being denied starting October 31st because of whatever. You've got more income, more resources, and you're no longer eligible, whatever the case may be. If you disagree with that, then you fight it. So if you've got anybody in California that has recently fought that type of thing, make sure you go into the 24help.org, go into the California Medicaid section, and then add that. Say, yes, I recently got denied and I fought it and I did this and I did this other thing and they were wrong and I fixed it. So this person might just need that help. So fight it. But if you're losing Medicaid, Medi-Cal, in fact, you're losing it, you know that you're not eligible for it because of, you know, income, resources, or whatever the case may be, then you're also, if you have one of the Medicare Advantage dual eligible plans, you're also going to lose that one because a dual eligible plan is a dual eligible plan for people that have dual Medicaid, Medicare. So if you lose Medicaid, then you're no longer dual, so you have to find a regular plan. So you can reach out to Chapter there and they can see what's available. But in terms of all the other types of renewals, SDI, that's state disability insurance. So that's a state thing possibly. SSDI, yes, that's a federal program, Social Security Disability Insurance. And pretty much every program like that, yes, does do regular renewals, including SSI, Supplemental Security Income. So, all right, got two more and then we'll call it a night.
Hello, Ed. My name is Ed also. I am an SSDI. I'm going to be 66 in 10 months. Well, my birthday's in February, so when will I be 66 in 10 months? And then will my SSDI change, or will they just put me on regular Social Security? That's
okay. Yeah. So if you're 66 in 10 months in February, so you're looking like December there is your full retirement age. So yeah, if you're on SSDI, Social Security Disability Insurance, and once you turn your full retirement age, they automatically switch you to regular old retirement benefits. And most people don't even recognize the switch. Your benefit amount stays the same, direct deposit day stays the same. The only thing is you no longer have CDRs, the continuing disability reviews, and you're no longer limited in terms of work because you're on regular retirement benefits. So there's a lot of people out there that don't know that, and they're stressing, they're 70 years old, they're stressing that they're going to receive a continuing disability review when they're not on disability anymore. They're on regular retirement benefits. So stop stressing reviews. And they think they can't work because they're receiving disability benefits. So if you're able to work and you're obviously you're still disabled, that doesn't change. It's a bureaucratic switch. So let me see, you got another question. One last question, and then we'll do a couple of live questions, and then we'll call it a night.
Yeah, I'd like to ask a question about my wife was a school teacher for 30 years. She doesn't collect Social Security. She collects her pension from the state of Massachusetts. Can I claim her Social Security benefits that she earned in the first 5 years of her career before she became a school teacher?
It sounds like on the face of it, no. If she just paid 5 years, then she's not eligible for benefits, and no one is eligible for benefits on her record. So what it is, this is the one that the Social Security Fairness Act changed. Biden signed it, which I think was a terrible thing. I argue it's a Social Security Unfairness Act. The 6 million people that receive it always argue with me because they don't understand bin points and PIA and all that other kind of stuff. Yeah. So anyway, but if she is not eligible for benefits, then you're not eligible for benefits. But remember, she didn't pay when she worked for the state of Massachusetts. She didn't pay into Social Security, the Social Security part of FICA, but she did pay into the Medicare part of FICA. So if you're not eligible for Medicare because of you didn't work or whatever the case may be, then you can file for benefits, for Medicare benefits on her record. So, all right, I think that's all of the questions, the video questions. Let's see if we've got any other. Let me see if I can find some new people that I don't recognize here. Get some other questions. Isabella, in New York, in Louisiana, Virginia, small and big schools due to family circuit moved a great lot with the family. Yeah, the Social Security is a federal program, so it doesn't matter where you work, where you live. Yeah, as long as you paid into it as nationally, it doesn't really matter. So, Sandy, do you have a schedule that you follow to ask questions on here on YouTube? I hope I'm asking the right question. How often are you on YouTube? I am on YouTube or social media every single day. Unless the wife makes me take off a few days. But yep, I am here every single day, 3 o'clock West Coast time, 6 o'clock East Coast time. And then I do like a topic of the day, and then I answer questions for the rest. So my video question was what is the dollar limit of SDI to qualify for Medi-Cal? Oh, okay. The dollar limit of SDI, so that's a state benefit. I can't help you with that one. To qualify for Medi-Cal while on SSDI, yeah. I know for Medi-Cal, which is California Medicaid, it's one of the highest in the country. Like if you're in Texas, yeah, sorry. I went to high school in Paris, Texas, so I can harass people in Texas. But state sucks when it comes to taking care of people. We've got so many uninsured people in Texas. It's going to get even worse too. But in like Texas and Alabama and Georgia, if you get over like $1,000, $1,100 or something, there's some exceptions on there, then you can't get Medicaid. For California, I've seen people that receive Medicaid and their income is about $1,700, $1,800. But obviously, it's, to live in, San Francisco versus living in Paris, Texas is the cost of living. So that's why it's high. So it really depends. So and there's exceptions and exclusions. So I would contact the state there and confirm and apply. And they will apply any type of exclusions or exceptions to your particular case. Hopefully they do it correctly. And if you're approved, then you're approved. If they deny you, then you disagree with it, then you fight it. So love our Ed family here. Yes, we have, I would argue, I don't know of any other place on social media that does things like this that helps. Yeah. Again, it's just not me. I could be sitting here talking to the wall. And it doesn't help anybody. So unless y'all share. Wife can file on his account because of Fairness Act. Wife can file on his account because of Oh yes, Barbara, thank you. Yes, I forgot to mention the other side of that. See, awesome. So yes, the individual, the person that just asked that question, he wants to see if he can file for benefits on her, or she can. If he wants to file benefits on her record, and it doesn't sound like it's the case because she only paid into 5 years. If she only did in fact pay Social Security for 5 years, then no. However, if she's eligible for benefit, well, no, if she's 62 and not working, if she's eligible to file on her own record, even if she doesn't receive anything. So what will happen if she can file for benefits on your record? And previously, her non-covered pension would offset what she would receive on your record. But because of the Social Security Fairness Act, it won't. So she can file for benefits on your record. First, she has to file for benefits on her own record, and they will deny it because she's not insured. And then they will file for benefits on your record if you're currently receiving benefits. And then, she's technically eligible for benefits on her own record. That is, she's 62 years old, not working, again, she can work as long as it stays under the 23,400. So thank you for Barbara for reminding me to talk about that other part of it. So guys are awesome. All right, that is it for tonight. I will be back again tomorrow, and we'll talk about something else and answer a whole bunch of questions. So record a video question. Remember, if you've got someone in your family or someone that you see down on their luck in the grocery line, and they have a question about this, we ought to get those shirts. You see those shirts that says "Ask me about Medicare." We ought to get some shirts. Somebody out there industrious wants to sell some shirts. Go for it. Ask me about Social Security. And, if they ask questions, you put the phone up there, record the 2-minute video, and then we'll answer it here. So I don't know, just throwing stuff out there. All right. Y'all have an awesome night. And please, 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 please take care.